Hey guys, I'm Ubiru and welcome back. So over the last sort of 3 or 4 days, many of you guys have asked me what kind of mods do I use for World of Warships. And I thought I'd do a quick video today to explain and to show you guys what mods I use and the mods you can choose with this awesome mod pack called Aslain's mod. Now Aslain's mod is very renowned in World of Tanks. A lot of World of Tanks players use Aslain's mod because it has all the really good mods in one pack. Aslain's mod is essentially a pack of mods in one, so you can choose which ones you want and which ones you don't want. Of course, you're limited in some respects. For instance, crosshairs. You can't have multiple crosshairs. You only can have the one, but there are lots to choose from, and there are lots in World of Warships as well. And I'll get to that now, so let's have a look. So the first thing to do is to go into Google Chrome and look up Aslain's mod or Aslain's mod World of Warships, and it should be on top of the results. And now we're on aslain.com, which is the website for this mod. So Aslain's mod is one of the best mod packs because it keeps it updated every time there's a patch. So you see here it's 0.4, the current version of the game. As soon as it goes into a further release, Aslain will update it. So the current release of the mod pack is v0.4.4, which gives you the addition of the training room, which is also very interesting. So let's download the mod. So just beneath the screenshot of one of the displays, there it says download for World of Warships 0.4.0. So you click the hyperlink and it will give you another tab in your browser, which will then download the mod pack after a short wait. So the mod pack very rarely exceeds 80 megabytes, which isn't an awful lot of data, so it shouldn't really consume your hard drive. But if you seem to choose all the mod choices, it will take you longer, but we'll get to that in a moment. So once the mod is downloaded, go into your Chrome downloads folder, which is in the top right tab, go onto downloads, and it should be the very top. Click the download and it should go straight to this. Shows you a language setup, English of course. You run with your administrator rights and then it takes you straight to the installer. Here it is, the Welcome to Aslain's World of Warships mod pack setup wizard. So this mod pack is an installer, so you don't really have to worry about manually installing everything, dragging it and extracting it into files and folders. You just do it straight through Aslain's mod and it does it all for you. So when you're on the screen, don't click next just yet, click enable the image/sound preview by default and then click next. This is very important to preview all the mods in a separate tab to give you an idea of what everything looks like. You click next again until you get to this screen, which is the destination location of the mod. Now it's very important that you actually choose the directory of your game. If you don't choose your directory, the mods won't work correctly. So find the directory of your game. Mine is f/games/World of Warships. Yours might be /c, which is more common, and then click next. So this is the interesting part of the mod pack, same as World of Tanks, is where you can choose the components and customize your mod. So at the top here we have ship contour icons, and that shows you what each ship looks like in the top left and top right hand corner of the match and just before the match. So as you can see here, the Aslain's icon mod, which is basic, which is the same one as World of Tanks essentially, and it displays all their names in a different font. Now I haven't chosen the Aslain's icons as the one I would like, but you have lots of choice here. We have the Major Renegade icon, which is an interesting one where you can choose different versions of the mod. Not too appealing for me though. Cry Havoc, which is very basic as well. It shows you just basic text with very small color. My favorite one though is this one here, which is the Tirkias Icons v4.0, which I'm currently using, which reminds me a lot of the World of Tanks mod, the Roman contours, which is, it looks very similar, very nice and very neat. You can see in the center that all the ships look very individual. There's a little star which indicates if the ship is premium, and of course there's colors as well, which shows you which ship type they are. So this is a very good mod and the mod I've chosen. Now the next thing to look at is crosshairs. Now crosshairs, there are lots and lots of things to choose from. Lots and lots of different mods. You can have a broken glass mod. You can have this one here, which is my favorite, which is the Green Lemon 3K mod by Bowser. Very nice. It has like a sort of a radar look with a very nice distinct line. He has lots of different mods like the basic ones. You have Cobra, Dragonfly, Turtle, lots of really interesting ones. Now, some of the other crosshairs include Atmats, which is some of the very interesting ones. You can have UFOs, you have like shark displays, all kinds of wacky UI changes, which look kind of cool. But some of them are a bit obfuscating, and they do sort of blur the vision, and you can't really perform as well because you have a piece of shattered glass or an obstacle covering the screen, whereas you would normally see a ship. But my favorite one is definitely Green Lemon 3K. It's neat, it's tidy, and it works. Now the next thing to look at is the mod sharing sort of sense icon You have Sixth Sense in World of Tanks, and it has a similar name in World of Warships, where you can choose the image that displays once you've been spotted. I've chosen the first one, which is It's a Trap, which is a standard one. We have Pinky Sense, which is something if you're a Brony fan. We have Custom Damage Indicator and Torpedo Markers. Sixth Sense, which is just a skull. And some other ones which include changes to how ammunition works. The next one I've chosen is the Minimap mods. Now this one is pretty important for me at least. I want to know really from the map what kind of ships are where from my team and from the enemy, and so I can push to assist in different directions. It also shows you where ships have been previously. It shows you a sort of grayed out version where it shows the enemy ship's last known position, which is really helpful in the later parts of the match when you want to hunt down the enemy. You have Minimap Style 1, which is very glowy. Minimap Style 2, which is a bit similar, and Minimap Style 3. Now, Minimap Style 3 is my favorite. Looks very similar to the basic game, but with some very distinct changes. Now, you may notice that with the flags, the Japanese Navy flags are wrong. Now, the Japanese Navy flags were the Imperial Japanese Navy flags, but in this game, they're the newer Japanese flags, and I much prefer the degree of realism. So the first flag we can choose is the MLP flags, which is just a whole bunch of random stuff. We have two different types of Japanese Navy flags, which look essentially the same. We have a Kriegsmarine flag, a Sea Shepherd flag, and Polish flags for everything. So you can have Polish flags for USSR, USA, Japanese, British, doesn't really matter. You can have Polish Navy flags put on those ships just for the sake of it. You can change the login screen, so you can choose some of the really cool videos and audio from World War II footage to some pony fan things like Pinky Smile and True True Friends, stuff like this. Victory is Ours, Twilight Versus. Yeah, some of these are really interesting. Some are very good, but they're not necessary in any way. They don't change how your game works in any way. You can change the ship skins as well. You can choose how different ships look. And the last thing to add at the moment in this mod pack is the various mods that are available. Now the first one is the Ultra Fog Remover. I'm not sure if these are legitimate, but I assume they are. Given that all these mods are run through by Wargaming, we have the Ultra Fog Remover, which will give you a big advantage if you wish to use that. I, however, do not. The next one is the Clear View, which is essentially the same thing. Clears up the view, makes it less blurry, a lot easier to shoot. Colored Traces, which is the next one, which makes it easier for you to see what kind of shells people are firing. It's blue, I believe, for AP and red for HE. So it's very easy to know what kind of shells are firing at you, which gives you an idea of really what to expect. But in the game anyway, shells do look different. So this is not necessary. This just gives you a color advantage in many ways if you wish to use it. The next thing is more visible torpedoes and splash hits. So this is helpful if you're trying to avoid torpedoes. You don't often see them very quickly, so you use this mod to see them quicker and to potentially avoid them. Now, enabling battle replays has been around since very early closed beta. It's always been in the game's code. All you had to do really was change a couple of lines of text. But if you haven't enabled battle replays already, you can do it through Aslain's mods. So all you have to do is click this, enable ability to record battle replays, and it changes it for you. So when this is enabled, all you have to do is go into a game after it's all installed, and it will be saved into a folder into your game directory called Replays. And all your replays will be kept there, the same as if anyone would change the battle replay system anyway. And the last point, which is something I haven't looked at just yet, is called Training Room Enabler. Now, many of you may know in World of Tanks, there's a thing called Training Room, where you can jump into to explore the maps, to explore the best points in the maps, and to have a look at what tanks you have, you know, how effective they are against certain types of rubble. And the same can be done in this game. So this enables the training room for World of Warships. So you can go into the game once this is installed, go into the type of battle you want and go to training room, and it will throw you into a training room on your own, so you can test out maps and different ship types. So that's a very interesting change. I won't install these because I already have the battle replays installed and I haven't installed the training room just yet. But once you've done all this, once you've chosen all the mods you want, click next and it will show you this. Installation type, clean install or normal install. Now I would always recommend you do a clean install. This cleans up your mod folder from scratch, so everything is fresh and nothing's broken. Now if you do a normal install, there's always a chance that things may break. So it's always recommended that you use a clean install to install these mods. And then once you've done that, you click next. So once you click next, it will install and update all of the mods and put them on your system in the folder directory of your game. So when everything's installed and Aslain gives you the thumbs up and says finish, you click finish, you open up the game, and your mods should work. Unfortunately at the moment, unlike in World of Tanks, there isn't a XVM or sort of skill-based system in the game just yet, but I assume it'll be out soon. XVM in World of Tanks is where you sort of match your skills versus the people around you. So gives you an idea of how good people are in a match. Red is bad and green is good. So maybe that'll be out in the future, and I will of course update on this channel. So as I'm showing you a preview of the mods I'm using with the cool crosshair, I will flick to some of the weird mods that you can choose if you so desire. Yeah. So if you really want to experiment with this, you can download many brony mods. If that's sort of your thing, it's not my thing. Onto World of Warships, so you have ponies going around everywhere. You have an intro pony video which lasts a few minutes, which is, yeah. And there's some other changes, including how your commanders look. Now you can change how commanders look in the game. In the mod pack there's not an awful lot of choice. There's only currently 2 choices, either a modern version of how commanders will look or a pony version of how they look. So as you can see here, we have a bunch of ponies as my commanders, of all different types. Yeah, the names don't change of the commanders, but the images do. So if you want a pony riding around in your ship, you can have a pony commander. Ponies prancing all around your ship. If that's your sort of thing, you can have ponies in the intro as a 6th Sense mod and as a commander. So if that's your sort of thing, then go for it. Not to mention a rainbow crosshair, which you can also choose, which fits very nicely into the pony feel, I guess. If you want all these mods, you can install them separately from the mod pack. They're not too hard to find, they're all made by the same person. So this has been the mods I'm using currently in World of Warships, and some of the mods you can choose if you want. The mod pack will get bigger and bigger as time goes on because development of the game is getting bigger, more ships are being released, and more modding is being done. This mod pack, the Aslain's mod, will be updated more and more. Aslain is a fantastic guy. He consistently updates the mod packs to a very high standard, so I definitely recommend the Aslain's mod. It saves you a lot of hassle as well. Having a wizard where you can choose things and it installs them all at once is much easier than going on the internet and downloading everything separately and then installing it separately. So I highly recommend Aslain's mod pack. One thing to note is Aslain's mod pack may come up on your antivirus software as a threat, but just to let you guys know, it is not a threat. Aslain's mod will do no harm to your system. It is completely harmless. So every time I download the mod, it gets suspicious marking from my Norton antivirus software, but all I have to do really is click run instead of delete, and it works perfectly. The installer works, and then you can choose all these great mods. I will leave a link in the description below for the website, the Aslain's mod website. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.